They really care about their clients. They care about me and my wife, Kristen, who runs the company. They care about us getting results. They just want us to succeed. They're rooting for us. They're cheering us on. As business owners, you don't get that very often. Service providers will do their job, but Kurt and Nick and John were constantly like cheering us on. And I think that's a pretty added value to the process to lift your spirits on a regular basis because, ads don't always work, right? And to have a group of people who are right there cheering you on, I think is super helpful. My name is Matthew Ferry. I live in Southern California and I own Matthew Ferry International. We were running ads looking for the proper client base and not really having a lot of luck. Our lead cost was running us somewhere between, on the low side, $28 a lead. On the high side, we were paying upwards of $60 a lead. And the truth is those leads weren't really converting. And so we had hired a young guy to run our ads for us, and he just didn't quite get it. We have run our own ads. We've done tons and tons of experimenting. Prior to hiring out, we were using Ad Espresso. Then they got bought by Hootsuite. Their service kind of went downhill, and we abandoned that process. We really needed something more sophisticated to find our exact client. We needed someone to take this over who could do it well. Our lead cost was too high and our conversion was too low. I think the first noticeable changes were that they took the entire process. They were asking all the right questions. They were interested and curious about the business. They wanted to understand the ins and outs so that we could then find our way, find our customer. I think the first noticeable changes was the dropping in the lead cost and the increasing of the conversion. And so we were getting higher quality leads for less. I went from having to think about every single component of the process all the way down to my job was essentially to just create content. So all I did was create the advertising campaign. I created all the assets, handed it over to them, and then they did the work to find the right audience, to fine-tune the ads, make sure that we were running those ads to top, middle, and bottom, and that they would work, right? So just the transformation was I didn't have to think about it, and when they thought about it, it was really effective. I think I had a, boy, this is awesome moment. We started to get some campaigns that were running lead costs at the $3 to $5 range. And those leads were converting into high ticket $1,000 training programs, which was great. That was a pretty awesome moment. I think the biggest value is that they aggregate their understanding and their investigations of how to advertise effectively, different ideas for advertising, different campaigns, different funnels, because they're working with so many people. Kurt is able to sort of look across the spectrum of all the different people that he's working with and say, this is working for this guy. They're not really in the same industry, but you guys should give that a try. He has some very specific things that he does with how he runs the campaigns. Those are things that I never would have thought of. I don't even know about. I don't even want to know, to be honest with you. But his ability to sort of pull from all these different industries and then give me some actionable things that would work right away, that's super powerful. It's not just Nick and Kurt, it's also John, and each of them has their own specialty. So when you're hiring one person, you're actually hiring three, and each one is going to take on something specific in the process of getting the ads to work. Kurt has really dialed in his system to be able to produce results. Thing that you're getting with Kurt is you're getting three people instead of one. So Kurt is going to be the master strategist. He's always bringing in new ideas. He's looking across the landscape, trying to figure out what can we take from different people and bring to you. Then you have Nick, who is dialing in the back end and making sure that every single component of the process works. And then you have John, who is just constantly taking action on your behalf, optimizing, tweaking, loading, pulling things up, pulling things down, turning things off. The trifecta of those three people is extremely valuable. It's more valuable than what they charge, I'll tell you that much.